Hello, welcome back to Creeping It Colorful. It's Sinister Saturday, where we do a story out of the book that says How They Croaked. Mark is going to read the story, and I'm going to start coloring this dragon page. And as soon as he's ready, if you hear a little jingle jingle, it's a cat having fun with a little jingle ball. Sorry about that. Here we go. He's flipping his mic on.
Alrighty, Albert Einstein today. Massive cranium. Physicist, born Ulm, Germany, March 14, 1879. Died Princeton, New Jersey, April 18, 1955. 76 years old. Albert Einstein made physics look fun and kind of silly. He smiled a lot, forgot to comb his hair, and rode his bike while he was unlocking the secrets of the universe. He made equations like E equals mc squared seem easy and beautiful, but it's hard work to think up something that simple. A normal brain has 25 million neurons linked by billions of connections, and ideas run through miles of nerve fibers at 200 miles per hour. Maybe Einstein had more neurons, or maybe his ideas moved faster, or maybe his brain was just bigger than everybody else's. Einstein himself shrugged off his smarts. A new idea comes suddenly and in a rather intuitive way, he said. Einstein was born in Germany into a Jewish family. His mom noticed that his head was fat with weird angles. He didn't even speak until he was 3, but his chubby noggin was the right size for soaking up geometry and science. Pretty soon, Einstein's big head was outthinking his teachers. He dropped out of high school and went to a polyethnic institute in Switzerland to see what he could learn someplace else. But once a student there, he spent a lot of time not going to class. Einstein's lab was his own brain. Einstein was only 26 when he came up with the general theory of relativity. His paper on photoelectric effect earned him the Nobel Prize. Everybody wanted a piece of him. His ideas were in demand, and he was given honorary doctorate degrees in science and medicine and philosophy from universities all over the world. But the world was at war. A lot of the time during World War I, Einstein became a pacifist. He believed in a world government a few years before World War II. Einstein left Germany and moved to the United States. He spent 22 years in Princeton University teaching and doing research. He grew old and he had a great pain in his stomach. Even with the best medical care, the inevitable happened. The abdominal aorta, the main artery of the heart, which leads to the stomach, stretched out like a balloon and started to leak. Albert Einstein died in New Jersey on April 18, 1955, of an aortic aneurysm, a burst artery. He was 76 years old. The world's most famous genius and humanitarian was dead. He had expressed a wish to be cremated, but before that happened, Einstein's body was examined in a so-called routine autopsy. The pathologist on duty, Thomas Harvey, couldn't believe his luck when he saw Einstein's chilled corpse splayed out on the steel table. First, he sliced Einstein's body open right down the middle. The rib cage that had protected Einstein's insides for almost 8 decades was jimmied open. With tweezers, clippers, pruning shears, a bone saw, and various other tools of the trade, The pathologist examined Einstein's guts. His liver, lungs, kidney, heart, and all sorts of glands and filter systems were detached, and lined up on a table. The pathologist confirmed the cause of Einstein's death. The completely unnecessary postmortem was complete, but Harvey's stars had aligned in a way that he refused to ignore. This was his moment to be famous. It's not every day you get a genius autopsy, he said later. Einstein's face still looked just like Einstein in a waxy sort of way. One plus about corpses is that they feel no pain. So when Harvey parted Einstein's hair neatly across the top of his head, sliced open the scalp from ear to ear, and folded it over Einstein's face and down his neck, it was painless for all concerned. He cut Einstein's skull in half, just above the eyebrows, with a special electric saw that shut down when it sensed soft tissue. Then, with the skull chisel wedged in place and a few whacks of a mallet, Einstein's cranium came off with a sticky sucking sound. His spinal cord and everything else that wired Einstein's think tank to the rest of him was snipped free. Against the deceased's wishes and without permission from the next of kin, Harvey reached in and removed Einstein's brain. The pathologist couldn't wait to measure it. He would forever be the man who had confirmed what everybody already figured. Einstein's brain was larger than everybody else's. It had to be. Harvey placed Einstein's noodle in the grocery scale hanging from the ceiling. The brain weighed 2.7 pounds, the weight of a head of cabbage. That's a tad less than the average brain. What? That couldn't be right. The pathologist didn't want to give up his chance of fame too fast, so he plopped Einstein's brain into a jar of formaldehyde. The guy stuffed cotton in the now empty black hole in Einstein's skull. The top of the cranium was set back in place, and it stayed put after Einstein's peeled face and scalp were sewn back together. The pathologist arranged Einstein's hair in a really bad old man comb-over to hide the stitches. The organs were returned to the torso, and Einstein's chest was stitched together like a seam on a baseball. Thomas Harvey met with the press, reported his findings. He didn't mention that Einstein's brain was now floating in a jar in the body parts room, and when Harvey got back to the autopsy room, Einstein's mangled remains were off to be cremated. At the crematorium, the mourners didn't notice their loved one's upper story had been gutted of all its marbles. Einstein's oh-so-light body was cremated, and the ashes were scattered somewhere in New Jersey. Harvey told his boss and boasted to his family that he had Einstein's brain. That kind of news travels fast. Einstein's son, Hans Albert, found out someone had stolen his dad's brain when he read about it in the newspaper. He was furious and called the hospital, but somehow the pathologist talked Hans Albert into letting him keep the brain of the century. He promised Hans Albert he would use it in a scientific study. The hospital didn't see it that way and fired Harvey, so Harvey took the brain home. After all, Hans Albert had given it to him. In his spare time, Harvey photographed Einstein's intact noodle before he cut it in half and sliced it, luncheon meat thin, in 240 pieces. Then bedded the slices on a microscopic slide. The leftover brain chunks filled 3 jars. Years and years went by. Einstein's brain spent a few decades at Harvey's basement in a beer cooler. It also took a trip across the country in the trunk of Harvey's car. Have a brain, we'll travel. Harvey didn't know the first thing about how to study the brain, nor was he able to get anyone else to do it. He sent slides through the mail to various brain researchers without his return address, and he never followed up. 30 years later, 1985, one of the researchers who had received blobs of Einstein's gray matter discovered that his brain had more cells than normal brains, but no one is sure if that's what made him so smart. After keeping Einstein's brain for 40 years, Harvey finally found someone to study it. Sandra Whiston of McMaster University in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. He gave her 14 pieces of brain and his original photographs. She concluded that Einstein's inferior parietal region, the area associated with visual and spatial reasoning, was 15% larger than normal, and he didn't have a Sylvian fissure, a particular cervix like you and I have. So instead of two key brain sections, Einstein had one big section. That study was done using Harvey's photographs and autopsy measurements, not the brain itself. Harvey could have returned the brain to its rightful owner after photographing and measuring it. Stealing something is always a stupid choice. Before Harvey died in 2007, he drove Einstein's brain back to Princeton Hospital and gave it to the pathologist who held his old job. The brain is still there. Einstein's theories continue to astound physics today, but before he died, he offered up another theory. Our death is not the end if we can live on in our children and the younger generation, for they are us. Our bodies are only wilted leaves on the tree of life. Footnotes: Einstein's eyeballs. Henry Abrams, an eye surgeon, spent a few minutes with Einstein's corpse. With his bare hands, he opened Einstein's eyelids, snipped Einstein's eyeballs free, and took them out with a pair of forceps. He dropped them into a jar of formaldehyde and took them home. Abrams still has them. Einstein's eyeballs are in a back safe deposit box somewhere in New Jersey. Cremation 101. To cremate is to burn a corpse by fire. Here's how. 1. Remove jewelry, gold fillings, pacemakers, prosthetics, and any mechanical implants. They won't burn and they might ruin the cremation chamber. So we'll have to take your knee out. Set a fire between 1,400 and 1,800 degrees Fahrenheit. Make sure the body is burning properly. If not, move it around and jiggle it a little. Wait 1.5 to 3 hours, depending on the body size. Let the ashes cool. Sweep the ashes out of the chamber. There will be some commingling with the ashes of previously cremated bodies. Oh, well. Get an urn large enough to hold between 3 and 9 pounds of white ashes. Cool fact: cremations are done one body at a time unless permission is given for close relatives to be cremated together. Notable Einstein quotes. What is it that nobody understands me and everybody likes me? Or why is it? With fame, I became more and more stupid, which of course is a very common phenomenon. I have no special talents. I am only passionately curious. Look deep, deep into nature, and then you will understand everything better. There's only one road to true human greatness, through the school of hard knocks. If you want to live a happy life, tie it to a goal, not to people or things. We must dedicate our lives to drying up the source of war, ammunition factories. The end.
He said, oh, no, wait, you had the microphone. Alrighty. Yeah. When he said, "We'll have to take your knee out," I had a knee replacement on my left knee, so that's what he was talking about. He wasn't talking about Einstein, but yeah, that's just some weird stuff going on there. I didn't even read any of these before, and so if it was a little gross for you, it's kind of more comical than it was anything else. This guy got all excited and started stashing body parts in jars. I mean, I think it would be a little creepy to see. I just did an autopsy on that guy, and his eyeballs are floating over there on the shelf. That's pretty sick. So anyway, I'm trying to do something similar to this on here, and I'm using Color watercolor pencils. So it goes quicker. I'm just going to be doing this as the base, and then I'm going to be going over it with pencil. So that's my plan. So I thought if I did it this way, at least you could get an idea of what I'm trying to accomplish, and it would go just a little bit quicker. So that's what I did so far, and hopefully it'll look pretty cool. I mean, I think I'm at my point of I'm done with dragons for the month. Holy crap! I know I've completed 18 so far. Then I attacked the Kirby Rosanis books. I had 4 Kirby Rosanis books, and you know, most of his illustrations are double pages, so they're double page spread. So I was like, oh boy, what did I get myself into? But it wasn't too bad. I did gel sticks to base it with, and so far it's been going pretty quick. And so yeah, I kind of like that idea. It went pretty quick. And I'm trying to do, you run out of ideas for colors. Like this is something I had to look up on Pinterest to see if I could get some ideas. I was going to do a gray one, and then I thought it's going to be too washed out. It's going to look like grayscale if I do that. So I thought, why don't I use my Color, and it'll look somewhat gray, but it'll also be like subtle. It won't be so black and white type. So that's what I used. And when I did the Color here, I did 118. Looks like it has a little bit of pink mixed in with it. So that's why I thought, well, that'll be a good one. It's not really black, and you can see it has kind of a shade of pink in it. So up here, I'm going to do, if I can distinguish what's what up here, like what his horns are. This is out of Mythographic Shangri-la, with Alessandra Fusi as the illustrator. So this is the first time I think I'm coloring in this book. So not too. I think I might have done some of her illustrations before, but like I'm not too. There was something on here that I wasn't sure what it was, and now I can't find it. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I didn't think I blended that right there. Get that blended. All right, that was quick. Now we'll just do a little bit more, and then I'm going to try to finish up his head area here. So at least I got the dragon somewhat done for you guys, except for that's going to be all pink. Okay, I'm thinking this is a horn. I'm not sure, but it's going to be now, right? It is what you make it. Let's see, that's there. And I'm not sure where this is an ear here. So I'm going to do the outside of the ear. All right, then we got that done. And then I'm going to do around his eyes. his eye, not eyes. There, got that. And let's see, like I only see that. Maybe that's the top part of his, maybe they're both the horns on the top of the head. And this is just flowy stuff. Oh, I don't know what that is. Man, it's like hard because you can't really distinguish. I'm going to guess this might be a horn. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I am going to say that's a horn and maybe this is a horn. And if it isn't, well, it's going to be now. So, okay, let's try. We'll get some other color in here. I'm going to try to incorporate these colors into it. I think I'm going to go from light to dark. So I'm going to do the ends dark on these. And then, see, I'm doing opposite of what you mostly do. Usually start off with the dark and then end with light, but I want to be different. So I'm going to do all these little hairy guys here with this darker pink. What's this called? Indian red. I'm going to do them on the ends. And then I'm going to use the other pink that I have, which I don't know that name either. I only was going by the numbers when I picked them out. So all this here is going to be a little bit of red, Indian red at the bottom. And then the pinky pink later. Got lots of hair, doesn't he? He's got flowing locks. It's okay if I got that wrong. I'm not too worried about it. And I'm just going to do this part red here. And he's got a little mustache here. We'll do that. We'll do this whole part here red, darker. And these guys down here is a little beard. And now we'll go in with the, oh, wait, missed one here. And I missed this one here, I think. But other than that, I think I may have gotten all the ends. Just make sure. Now I'll go in with the other one I picked, which says Jaipur pink. I think that's, what number is that? 24? Nope, that's not the color I wanted. Let's see. It was scarlet red, which is number 37 on here. This one. So I have these two I'm working with. I wanted to, no wait, let me see if that is, yeah, I'm going to do that color, sorry. I'm all over the place. I got to do a different one. There we go. That makes sense. Since they're side by side on the chart, it only made sense to put them together on the dragon. And then I'll do the water on it. Water. I can't believe this. I gotta explain myself. I never noticed it before. And I always tease my husband because he's from Oklahoma, and sometimes the way they pronounce their words is really funny. Like instead of toilet, he says toilet. And oil, he says all. And so I always used to tease him. Well, I figured out when I heard myself on my videos that I don't say water, I say water. And it's like, that irritates me. So every now and then you'll hear me try to correct myself, and I'll say water. And it'll sound funny because I'm really trying to enunciate it. But you know, after 58 years or so of trying to saying it the same way, I don't know that I'll be able to teach this old dog new tricks. So you'll just have to bear with me. I apologize if that bothers anyone, because it sure as heck bothers me. And I know it shouldn't, but it does. Anyway. One thing I don't remember if I've done any. I must have. I think I did a few water dragons. But this one doesn't have wings or anything. So, and I think I remember someone saying that Chinese or Japanese dragons do Oriental Asian dragons. Let me just put it right there in the whole group. Asian dragons do not have wings. So, alrighty. Let me just get some of this in here. Alright, so that's his whole makeup, and then this here is going to be the same way, where I'm going to put the darker red on the ends. I think I might have enough time. And then I'm going to do the water brush. And that's how I'm going to come in with them with the pencil then. And I use Prismacolor pencils. They're my favorite. Actually, they're the only good pencils I have. And back in the day when I started, that's what I started with. So I'm pretty comfortable with them. But since my husband has gotten into coloring somewhat, they have gone down and dwindled. So, yeah, I'm soon be into the stubby area where I only have stubbies to work with. 500 pencil extenders. I hope I'm getting you guys to see what I'm doing. I have my phone pretty high up. So I have to keep getting up and down, and I don't want to knock everything all over the place. Let's see, how much more do I have? I don't see any more. Okay, so then we're doing 33 next. Just work all that. Oh, look what I did. I busted. And I don't know where my sharpener got to. I grabbed it really quick to take off the table because, oh, I'm going to have to get another sharpener. Hold on one moment. Technical difficulties. Let's see if this works. It wasn't working before, but it might work enough for me to color a little bit. I have this one that's partially broke. Oh, it didn't work too bad. Pull you guys back in here, and now we're cooking with gas here. Hope you guys are all having a good weekend so far. Mine was doing a lot of spring cleaning, and by that I meant that meant me going into the attic and purging things that if they're up there and I'm not using them, I don't need them. That's my attitude. So I'm glad I'm having this attitude, because for as many times as we've moved around, man, oh, I wish I would have done it sooner, because, man, I have junk stuff. Like, I just can't believe I saved it. Now, like, when it comes to photos and it comes to things with my kids, yeah, that I'm taking here, there, and everywhere. That's going to go everywhere with me. But now, did I pick up the right one? Nope. So, yeah. That stuff's different. But, well, there's so much junk. Stuff that I see it and I'm thinking I need that. It's more like I want it rather than I needed it. So, yeah. So, we take stuff to an auction. And tomorrow is auction drop-off day, where we drop off all the stuff that gets sold next month, the first Saturday of the month. So yeah, I did some purging in there, and then we went out to our shed, and I got a lot out of there. It was like, as soon as I walked in, I'm like, this goes, I was like, and it feels good to do that. It feels good to purge. Because I know I'm not going to be needing any of it. Haha, I found some more. Jutting out here at the end. Getting them done here. And yeah, so that was my Saturday. And if it's nice out tomorrow and we come home early enough from our auction run, I just may go out there and get stuff ready for next month right away. Now that one, I have to use this. Yeah, alrighty. Now we'll take our water brush. We'll just go in there and blend everything. Well, I'm going to do this for this. I'm going to have to redo his eyeball. And go in here and do all of this. Nice and quick. Just enough to put a coat down for when we go in with the pencils. That's what I like about this stuff. I don't know, I just must be an impatient person when it comes to this stuff, because I really am glad that when I do this, it doesn't take long. Just enough to put color down, like I said, so I can go to the next step, and it's easy. And it's easier for me to do it this way, and I never thought of doing this the way until I started watching lives and watched how people do, and I'm like, man, that is so much easier to do it that way. And I feel better about it because it makes it quicker for me, because I can just go in then and I already see my color scheme, so I can get my color scheme real quick when I go into my pencils and pick out what I want and just go over it. So yeah, it works for me. I like it. I like it. It's nice and quick, and you don't have to be perfect when you do it. You just have to be patient and hope your pencils don't break when you don't have a sharpener. So I'm going to go in and get all this light pink done, and then I'm going to go in and do the darker pink. This is a different color dragon. I did some really cool colored ones, which hopefully I will get to finish out by next weekend. I'd like to get most of them done and posted, but we'll see what happens. See what life throws at me that maybe I can and maybe I can't. Life has a funny way of doing that, doesn't it? You make plans, but sometimes those plans can't get followed through because life throws stuff at you that you could never plan that to happen, but things happen. So, okay, this is going pretty good here. I'm glad I thought of doing this today, because I know a couple times I've done stuff and it wasn't, well, I'm still not finishing a page with you guys, but that's my phone's fault, not mine. Yeah, so I'm just about done here. I want to thank you guys for stopping by and listening to the story. I hope you enjoy this, because I thought, well, you know what? I want to incorporate some stories or something. I don't have the technical savvy to have music playing and me doing some fast forwarding while coloring while I'm listening to music or whatever. So I thought, you know what? We can tell some funky stories and while I color. And it works out because my husband likes to do that, so he volunteered, which is good. And so that works out for me because he can do that while I do this. And there you go. So that is my pink and gray dragon so far, and hopefully it'll turn out really good. I have some ideas for the backgrounds of the greens. This I want to make look like fire, and somehow, and I have no idea what I want to do for the background here in the buildings. Maybe I'll make the buildings gold. Do something different. Just like the trim around here, I might make that gold, and then like in here make light. I don't know what those are. This looks like a, I don't know if that, is that just the top of the, yeah, it's just the top of the building. This might be a window. I might have to make that like a window, and this like a window, and then these just all gold. Oh, so many ideas. Anyway, thank you again for stopping by. And if you like, give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't. It doesn't cost anything, but it'll really help me out a lot. I do put out lots of videos because I do a lot of hashtags, and I do the Sinister Saturday, and I do Terrifying Tuesday, and I do backgrounds on a budget on Thursday. So hopefully I'll see you guys in one of those upcoming videos, and I hope you like it, and please stay happy, stay healthy, stay creative, stay a little creepy, and stay tuned for the next one. See you then. Bye bye.